Hey guys, it's Jackie here, and today I'm bringing you like a very different video. So this is kind of like, I've been thinking about it for weeks, how I want to do this series talking about my internship and different things about that, and like how I felt before I went, how I feel now. Like I'm 5 weeks in, and I decided, it's finally time to start this series, and I want to do it before I finish and like finish my internship and still talk about it after I finish my internship. And since I'm halfway through, I felt like I've given myself a lot of time to think about this, from the beginning to where I am now, so let's just get right into this. So back in like February, March, I knew I really wanted to do an internship this summer, and I wanted to get my foot right into fashion. I kind of been through like a lot with the fact that wanting to be being an art student, wanting to be a fashion designer. Like in 3rd grade, I knew I wanted to be a fashion designer. I still remember the night I was watching That's So Raven and like Hannah Montana, and like That's So Raven became a designer, and there's this episode where like she wanted to be a model. She wanted to model her own clothes, being like short and on the heavier side, and so she didn't want that skinny girl walking out in that dress, so she went out there too. And that was like, wow, I was in 3rd grade and that had such an impact on me. And then like I started hand sewing like clothes and stuff for my Barbies, Bratz, American Girl dolls. I literally started a company in 3rd grade, drawing little American Girl doll clothes and making them, and hand sewing and gluing whatever I could do with like felt and random things and costumes I cut up. And I was really like creative with that. And so I started like making clothes, and I knew from then like that's what I wanted. 4th grade, my parents got me a sewing machine, and since then I've been a little fashionista. And like throughout high school, I did like classes at colleges for sewing and like drawing, and I was always into art and doing that. And like a lot of people were always like to me, do you have a backup plan? Like what if this doesn't work out for you? What if like you're not cut out for this? What if you can't do this? And then there's also been people who are like, that's ugly, why would you make that? Like stuff like that, like kind of what I have. I am weakness, I am greatness with like a sewing machine and scissors, but kind of because there's constantly people trying to throw you down and like hit at you, and I'm just like not like around for that. Like I'm still just gonna keep going and keep pushing. I have way more confidence than that. So I decided I'm gonna be a fashion designer no matter what anyone said to me. Like that was my idea when I was in freaking 3rd grade, and like I was like, what, 7 years old, 8 years old, I don't know, and I'm 21 now. So, and I'm finally like going along with my dreams, and I didn't let anyone like disencourage me, even though there was times where I was like, what if I should do something more practical? But I didn't. I still went to art school. I'm still doing this, and like throughout college the past 2 years, there has been times where I felt like, should I even be doing this? Like, is this really what I want to do? And like people, trying to push at me, and like I feel like there's always signs telling me, no, this is what you're meant to be. This is why you were brought on this earth. Like you don't want to be a talent, waste it. And so I decided to become a fashion designer, and I kept through with it. Like I major in fashion, and then I double minor in business and textiles. I do 7 classes a semester, and I constantly am pushing myself through this because this is what I want to do. And so I decided I'm going to do an internship, and even though we're supposed to be, like, it's mandatory to do at least 1 internship from junior to senior year, but I'm sophomore, going to be a junior. Well, starting August I'll be a junior, so next month. But this summer I was like, I'm going to do another internship, an extra one, to push myself over the edge. Because sometimes you kind of feel really low, like people think lowly of you, and I feel like people think like maybe I'm not cut out for this. But if I was so like not cut out for this, why would I be doing all of this? So I decided I'm gonna do this fellowship. I applied, I had a sponsor, I had a teacher and like an outside source sponsor, and I came up with this internship proposal that I wanted to do like a pamphlet on how to have the best internship, and just doing like what you can to achieve your goals, because everyone needs to do an internship in like this type of field and like get their name out there in the industry. So I did this whole proposal. I won, so I got the leadership fellowship for Sis Grenold at Moore College of Art and Design, and I won that award this year. And so from that, I decided to take it upon myself and find myself an internship. It was in May. I finally got a call back. I went to Parker, that's where I intern at. I went to Parker and I literally sat into a little interview, but originally it was really bad. I was so late to the interview because I took a bus in and the bus said it would be there at 9:10. My interview was 9:30. I didn't get to my interview till 10 o'clock, but they were like, it's okay. And I talked and I got hired as a design intern. And literally from that moment, I was like, wow, the world's finally on my side. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I finally have an opportunity to do what I've always wanted to do. And sorry, I'm getting super emotional. But I was so happy that this is constant, people want this. And not everyone can have it. And the fact that I was able to go there and get an internship, and that this is what people dream of doing, and that I was able to pursue my goals and do this, and that I'm a sophomore, and there's no in my school I don't think anyone else in my grade particularly is doing any internships right now. I know the people in the other grade are, but I'm doing one early, then I'm going to do one again next year. So I was really nervous, wow, I live in Pennsylvania. I'm going to New York 3 times a week for an internship, and I was yeah, I'm totally okay with doing this. I go to New York all the time. I go to New York once a month maybe, and I'll make day trips and stuff, but going there 3 times a week for 10 weeks straight, what? So I still did it anyway, and I was really nervous, and things kind of failed at first. I was supposed to have a car. I was going to drive to Jersey, take the train up, and that was only going to take me 2 hours out of my whole entire day, at the most. Instead, I take a train and a bus, and I wake up at 5 in the morning instead of waking up at 7:30, and I take a train that's an hour. I wait half an hour for the bus. I take a bus that can take 2.5 hours. It takes me 4 hours to travel there, 3 hours to travel back. Completely insane, but I still do it anyway. And I was really nervous about this whole entire thing because I work and stuff like that too, and I was well, I'm not gonna have a single day to myself. I'm gonna be working all the time, but this is it's nonstop grind. I'm starting from the bottom, trying to work my way up, and I'm finally getting to where I want to be and my career and goals. So originally, before my internship, I was this is the best thing that's ever happening to me in my life, and I was given an opportunity like that not everyone can get, and that I was able to do it by myself. Then I got this opportunity. I went to an interview. I got this from my interview. They picked me. They have 2 other interns, but 2 design interns. I'm one of the 2 design interns. They have an intern in marketing there, but they picked me. And they're a company that's been around for 10 years that sells to Bloomingdale's, Neiman, and Saks. So they're a really reputable company. And I was given this amazing opportunity that I've been at for 5 weeks. And I was really freaked out, wow, I'm leaving home and I'm traveling back and forth all the time. And I stay with my boyfriend and my friend a lot. And because it's way closer than my parents' house. So I was really scared. I felt my throat was in my stomach was everywhere. It was that knot in your stomach. I felt the knot in my stomach. I felt everything nonstop. Everything was constantly oh my gosh, I can't believe this is really happening. And I was so freaked out from the beginning, and I shouldn't have been that freaked out, but I was, because my dreams are finally happening. This is my first ever internship. So it was kind of a really big deal. I've never, done an internship before. Didn't know how they were going to think about me. Didn't know if they would like me. Didn't know if I would do the job right. And so that's all the things to put into perspective, that you're starting this internship, you want to make a good impression. This is your first name in the industry. This is what I'm putting on my resume. If I want a recommendation or anything, or even after graduation, if they're hiring, do I want to work there? So I want to look good. I could get a job possibly with them. You want to make sure you look good. And so I was I need a really good first impression, but my coming to my interview wasn't that good of an impression, but I finally got there on the first day. It wasn't that bad, and I'm 5 weeks in and it's still not that bad. I didn't realize at first though that I should be dressing a certain way, and it was coming in athletic wear, and I looked a mess. And usually I do my makeup and stuff and I try to look really nice, but like getting up at 5 a.m. after working like an 8 to 9 hour shift the day before and like having to do this every other day, like internship one day, work the next day, back and forth, it's a lot and does a lot to you. So sometimes I don't look the best. I don't look the most presentable. Sometimes I want to put on leggings and a hoodie. And like I was told, technically that's not that appropriate, especially when we're doing meetings and stuff. And I completely agree, but they were totally cool with it. And so I really hope that I make a better impression on, my next internship. Now I know exactly how I should look, exactly what I should be doing. And I really didn't know what to expect. I was like, what does an intern do? Like, am I going to be like Ugly Betty, like on that TV show, running around getting coffee or something? Like, what do I do? And then how I feel now, I feel like so far I've learned a lot, and I feel like I shouldn't have been as scared as I was. But at the same time, I completely deserve to be that scared, especially for a first time doing this type of thing. I'm 21, and like, I'm young. Yeah, like, I'm traveling to New York by myself all the time. I even stayed there overnight for like a few days. Like, I did business in New York. I've been traveling back and forth. I'm 21 and I'm literally working 40 to 60 hours a week. And it's insane. And I'm going to New York and I'm coming back here and working and I'm doing all of this. And I feel really proud of myself now. I don't feel as scared anymore. I feel like I could honestly do this again in the future. But if I ever was to do another internship in New York, I'm totally gonna have a car. I'm driving to that train station and taking the train, because that is so much easier than taking a train and a bus. And it'll be so much nicer and so much better, and I could sleep in a little longer and or I could even look nicer. So I could shower in the morning, I could do my makeup, get ready, so that'd be way nicer. But honestly, I feel like personally people should do internships, especially if you have the opportunity to intern in New York and you're willing to travel. I think that is really worth it. And don't commit to 3 days. Try to commit to at least 2 days if you're traveling. But if you're not traveling that far, commit to more days, because the more days the better. The more experience, the more you're learning. And honestly, I think it's really worth it. Especially because you're getting your name out there, you're learning everything. Like, now I know where to get like really good deals on fabrics and supplies and all this stuff. And like, I'm already like, wow, before I go back to school, I need to stop here, making a list of where I can get all my school supplies. And it's like, honestly, so much better than like going to like your local fabric store. Like, this has everything. So this is great, better deals, support your small businesses. Also the fact that I'm really learning New York, I'm really learning the garment district, I'm really learning how the fashion industry works and how a fashion business works, especially wanting to start my own. So where I am right now, I feel like I'm doing really well. I feel like I'm really happy with what I'm learning and what I'm doing, and I'm honestly really excited for the future, even though I'm scared and I can, cry about this, but I'm really excited and I can't wait to see where the future takes me and where I'm going to be in fashion and where I'm going to go. So I hope that you'll stay on this journey with me and be proud and watch me and support my fashion lines when I start to bring them out. Thanks so much for listening.